Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari is being underestimated by everyone, including you, watching this video right now. 2 Grands Prix in, 1 sprint victory, and plenty of people are already saying he looks lost. But here's what almost no one is brave enough to admit: he's driving a car that wasn't even built for him. And still, he's delivering more than a lot of pampered drivers who had every private test session handed to them. Today I'm going to show you why Hamilton's shaky start at Scuderia Ferrari is, in reality, a clear sign that he's on the verge of exploding into this championship, and how what looks like weakness might actually be the start of something huge. Stick around until the end, because if you leave now, you'll keep repeating those shallow Twitter takes. But if you stay, you'll understand why Hamilton is still the most dangerous man on the grid when things begin to click. And spoiler alert, they're starting to. Lewis Hamilton didn't join Ferrari thinking he'd sit down and win right away. He knew exactly how big this challenge would be. But here's the truth: no one has the guts to say what he pulled off in the first 2 races is pure legend stuff. He won the sprint in China with textbook driving, despite never having done a long run in that car before. Anyone who's touched a Formula One simulator knows how ridiculous that is, and people are calling it a bad phase? Come on. While the world demands instant results, Hamilton was honest. He said he's still getting to grips with the car's setup. And yes, he made a mistake in Shanghai, but that's the point: he owned up to it. And more than that, he explained it technically. He's thinking like an engineer, not just a driver. While some think performance just happens, this man is studying mechanical balance, weight distribution, aero behavior, all in real time. Some call that a weakness. I call it a champion's mindset. Here's something almost nobody tells you. Hamilton didn't take part in the Abu Dhabi test, had no mileage on the 2025 tires, and his car broke down in Bahrain testing. That means he started this season practically blind. Other drivers had race simulations under their belt. He went into China without ever doing a stint on the C2 compound, which just happened to be the key tire of the race. And still, he fought hard in the midfield and brought the car home as best he could. That's the racing equivalent of sitting an exam without revising and still passing. Here's a line that might sting some fans watching from the sofa. Most people seriously underestimate what a driver actually does during a race weekend. Hamilton laid it all bare. He talked about telemetry, balance tweaks, setup changes between sessions. This isn't a video game, it's science, it's physics, and it's the instinct of a man with 7 world titles. Do you really think he's forgotten how to drive? Give him a car that's dialed in, with the right setup, and you'll see exactly who still runs Formula One. Winning the sprint in China wasn't luck. It was a message. A warning to those who thought Hamilton came to Ferrari to fade into retirement. He's learning, adapting, evolving. And every mistake he makes now is one step closer to getting it right. The question isn't if he'll win a full Grand Prix, it's when. And when that moment comes, mark my words, it'll be the turning point that flips the whole championship dynamic. The man is coming, and plenty of drivers are secretly hoping he takes a little longer. The bizarre new theory behind Ferrari's disqualification: 1 liter of water in the wrong place. Yes, you heard that right. What started as a bit of radio banter back in Australia, when Charles Leclerc's engineer joked that the water pooling in his seat must be the bottle, might actually have been the start of a much more serious issue. Because at the Chinese Grand Prix, that same Charles Leclerc was disqualified. The reason? His car weighed in 1 kilogram under the FIA's minimum weight limit. And here's the kicker. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur himself confirmed that Leclerc's water bottle leaked during the race, losing roughly 1 liter of fluid, which, in case you missed the maths, is pretty much the exact amount of weight missing from the car at the final weigh-in. Now, do you see how ridiculous and serious this is? Ferrari, a team with billions in budget, cutting-edge tech, CFD simulations, a wind tunnel worth more than some circuits, and engineers trained at Oxford, MIT, and the Polytechnic of Milan, got disqualified because of a leaking water bottle. Is this Formula One or a rejected script from Mr. Bean Goes Racing? If this theory is confirmed, we'll have to admit something painful. Ferrari have found a new way to lose points. It's not a pit stop blunder, not a dodgy strategy, not a mechanical failure. It's water, literal water. And it gets worse. This was the second race in a row where Leclerc had issues with his hydration system. At this point, it's hard to call it bad luck. It's starting to look like a fundamental design flaw. Someone in Maranello needs to sort that system out, or Leclerc's best option will be strapping a gym squeeze bottle to the seat with duct tape. Ferrari initially hinted that excessive tire wear might explain the weight loss, which sort of makes sense. Leclerc only made one stop, so technically, more rubber was left on the circuit. Pirelli took the tires back to Milan, dissected them, analyzed the wear, and guess what they found? Nothing out of the ordinary. No excessive wear, no anomalies. The tires weren't the culprit. Here's something most fans don't know. After a race, drivers deliberately drive through the dirtiest parts of the track on the cool-down lap to collect marbles, those stray bits of rubber, and gain extra weight before the post-race check. Yes, that's a thing. Because 1 kilogram can be the difference between points and disqualification. Now think about it. Leclerc was on a one-stop strategy. More wear, less rubber. He might have made that up with marbles. But he didn't know the water bottle had leaked. How do you compensate for weight you didn't even know you lost? Exactly. You don't. And the result? Disqualification. If this water bottle story turns out to be the main cause of the DQ, it's more than just embarrassing, it's a serious issue. A minor, avoidable detail just wrecked an entire race weekend. And if they don't act fast, it could ruin more. You can't afford to lose races over something that could be fixed with a 10 pounds bottle from Amazon. This is Scuderia Ferrari, not a Sunday track day in a borrowed car. Max Verstappen has spoken. And when the Dutchman speaks with this tone, you listen. Because usually, he says very little, but when he does, he's right. While Red Bull continues to treat driver swaps like tire changes, Verstappen laid it out clearly. The team's 2025 problem isn't the driver. It's the car. Yes, he's seen it, he's felt it, and now in his own way, he's saying it out loud. After just 2 races, Liam Lawson was dropped from Red Bull and sent back to Racing Bulls. Taking his place is Yuki Tsunoda, who steps up from this weekend's Japanese Grand Prix. Sure, Red Bull owns both teams and has moved drivers between them before, but giving Lawson only 2 Grand Prix? That's not strategy. That's panic. Former F1 driver Guido van der Garde went as far as calling it bullying on Instagram, and guess who liked the post? Max Verstappen. And he made it clear. I like the post, so I guess that speaks for itself. It wasn't a mistake. Now let's ask the question no one inside Red Bull seems willing to face. How did a team that dominated F1 for years end up throwing rookies under the bus instead of fixing the car? Verstappen didn't publicly throw his bosses under the bus, but let's be honest, he didn't need to. The message was there, clear as day. Our main issue is that the car isn't where we want it to be. If the car becomes more competitive and drivable, even the second driver will naturally perform better. He's right. The RB21 is twitchy, unpredictable, and behaves differently depending on the corner, the tarmac, the tires, the bumps, you name it. Even Verstappen can't fully tame it. If the best driver on the grid is having to dig this deep just to salvage P2 or P4, what chance did a rookie like Lawson have in just 2 weekends? The answer? None. Let's be brutally honest. Liam Lawson never got a fair shot. 2 races, no time to adapt, no chance to build consistency, and then gone. All while McLaren are surging, Ferrari are finding their rhythm, and even Mercedes stuck in limbo, at least stick with their drivers. Red Bull? Flailing. Looking for answers in the wrong places. Swapping pieces before checking the actual machine. And Verstappen sees that from the inside. Max spent time at Red Bull's UK factory trying to work out what's wrong with the car. Spoiler. It's not one thing, it's a combination of many small imbalances. He put it bluntly, it's a bit more nervous, more unstable in different corner phases. Depends on corner speed, tarmac, tires, curbs. Some tracks are more limiting than others. And let's be real, if Max Verstappen is struggling with the car, what hope did Lawson have? You can't expect miracles from a rookie when the main man is already dragging the car to its limits. Verstappen didn't sugarcoat it. At the moment, McLaren are comfortably ahead. That says it all. Because Formula One isn't just about raw speed, it's about direction, stability, focus. Things Red Bull seem to be losing fast. So now it's over to you. Do you still think Red Bull's problem is who sits in the second seat? Or have you realized, like Verstappen, that the real issue runs deeper? If you enjoyed this video, hit like, because here at Paddock Insider, we don't sugarcoat things. We give you real analysis, raw opinions, and the behind-the-scenes truths that fans deserve. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This is where we break the stories before they break your timeline. This channel is for the thinkers, the challengers, the ones who know Formula One isn't just about the racing, it's about the politics, the power, and yes, the pressure behind the paddock door. See you in the next video. Until then, let's hope Verstappen's radio stays honest.